Ellen Pompeo's first leading show since Grey's Anatomy debuts with underwhelming Rotten Tomatoes score. Ellen Pompeo's first leading role in a television series since Grey's Anatomy debuts with an underwhelming Rotten Tomatoes score. Pompeo made her first on-screen appearance in an episode of NBC's legal drama Law and Order before guest starring in various television series, including the comedy Strangers with Candy, the medical drama Strong Medicine, and the iconic sitcom Friends. Though her film career has struggled to take off, her overall career took a significant turn in 2002 when she garnered attention for her performance in the romantic drama Moonlight Mile. In 2005, Pompeo was cast as the titular Dr. Meredith Grey in ABC's medical drama Grey's Anatomy, following her journey from a surgical intern to a fully certified doctor, and eventually the hospital's chief of general surgery. The character became immensely popular, establishing Pompeo as one of television's most acclaimed and highest-paid actresses. By Grey's Anatomy Season 19, Pompeo stepped back as a series regular, and the show shifted to more of an ensemble approach. In turn, Pompeo has had more time to explore other roles on television. Good American Family has debuted with an underwhelming Rotten Tomatoes score. Created by Katie Robbins, Hulu's new limited series follows the true story of a Midwestern couple, played by Ellen Pompeo and Mark Duplass, who adopt what they believe to be a little girl with dwarfism, but slowly begin to question their assumption. Good American Family's cast also includes Imogen Faith Reed, Dilla Hill, Sarayu Blue, Christina Hendricks, and Kim Shaw. Now on the day of its premiere, Good American Family has debuted with an underwhelming 43% score on Rotten Tomatoes. The show only has 7 reviews at the time of writing, so the score should fluctuate as more are published. With fewer than 50 ratings at the time of writing, the show doesn't yet have an audience score. Good American Family's Rotten Tomatoes score means that the show's critical response is mixed, but leaning negatively. Reviews are criticizing the show's messy structure, lack of narrative cohesion, and tabloid-like approach to its sensitive true story, though there is some praise for its shifting perspectives and lurid drama. However, despite the lukewarm critical response, Pompeo's return to television will likely be enough to entice audiences to tune in. With Good American Family having premiered on Hulu, audiences can go watch the first 2 episodes and form their own opinions. It was a moment many had been waiting for. Ellen Pompeo, the indomitable Meredith Grey of Grey's Anatomy, finally stepping into the spotlight in a brand new leading role after nearly 2 decades of scrubs, surgeries, and Shondaland twists. The show, marketed with much fanfare and bearing the weight of great expectations, promised to be a reinvention of Pompeo's television legacy, a character that could stand on its own without the comfort of Seattle Grace behind her. But when the Rotten Tomatoes score finally dropped, it landed with a thud rather than the bang many had anticipated. Titled Found and Forgotten, the 8-episode limited series was billed as a psychological mystery set in rural Vermont, where Pompeo plays Dr. Elise Hartman, a neurologist-turned-reclusive novelist who becomes entangled in a cold case after discovering an anonymous journal in the attic of her new home. Moody, intellectual, and deliberately paced, the series aimed to channel a slow-burn prestige vibe, part Sharp Objects, part Mare of Easttown, with a dash of Big Little Lies. Critics, however, didn't quite buy into the formula. Rotten Tomatoes delivered a disheartening 47% critics score after the review embargo lifted, with some reviews calling it a beautifully shot slog and a prestige drama too preoccupied with atmosphere to remember it needs a plot. The audience score wasn't much kinder, hovering just over 50% after the first weekend, as viewers took to social media to express their disappointment. "I waited a year for Ellen Pompeo's comeback, and I got this. Where's the tension? Where's the spark? Meredith Grey would have solved the mystery and saved 3 lives by now. Still, despite the low ratings, there's nuance in the reception. Pompeo's performance itself has received praise, even from some of the harshest critics. She's magnetic in a quiet, introspective way, noted The Hollywood Reporter, and there's a sense that she's genuinely trying to reinvent herself beyond Meredith Grey. It's just a shame the script doesn't give her more to work with. Her portrayal of Dr. Hartman, a woman haunted by guilt, solitude, and a possibly imagined connection to the murder victim, shows a depth and vulnerability that reminds viewers why she led a hit show for 19 seasons. But for others, the comparison to Meredith is exactly the problem. She's still playing a doctor, one Reddit user pointed out. Even if she's not practicing, the character's backstory is so Meredith-coded. We needed something completely different. Throw her into politics, or make her a villain. Not another brilliant but brooding woman with trauma. Pompeo, for her part, has addressed the reaction with grace. At the show's Los Angeles premiere, she told reporters, "Not everything's going to be a cultural phenomenon like Grey's." And that's okay. I took this role because I wanted something smaller, more character-driven. If people are expecting fireworks, they might be looking for a different show. Behind the scenes, Found and Forgotten was a risk from the start. It was developed in-house at a boutique production company, with Pompeo attached not just as the lead, but also as an executive producer. The showrunner, Marlene Oak, known for her work on a few acclaimed indie films, but new to episodic television, brought a more cinematic sensibility to the project, something that didn't quite translate well to weekly TV for some viewers. Long takes, minimal dialogue, and metaphor-heavy dream sequences left audiences scratching their heads rather than leaning in. Even so, there's a growing faction of defenders who say the show simply needs time. "This isn't meant to be binged in one night," said one Found and Forgotten subreddit post. "It's a puzzle. Let it breathe. Let her be someone other than Meredith." And maybe that's the heart of it. The Rotten Tomatoes score, while disheartening, may reflect less on the quality of the show itself and more on the impossible expectations placed on its star. Ellen Pompeo has been Meredith Grey for so long that any deviation, no matter how well-crafted, was bound to be met with skepticism or confusion. The industry, of course, is watching closely. Studios are still eager to work with Pompeo, whose brand remains strong, and whose fan base is nothing short of loyal. There's already talk of another project in development, one that will reportedly place her in a legal thriller as a morally compromised judge. If Found and Forgotten is a misstep, it's a brave one, and certainly not the end of Pompeo's post-Grey's era. And maybe, just maybe, the show itself will earn a second life. There's precedent. The Leftovers, Halt and Catch Fire, even Rectify, all shows that initially struggled to find their audience, only to become cult classics beloved for their depth and mood. For now, though, Found and Forgotten finds itself in limbo. Not quite a disaster, not quite a triumph. Just a show, a moody, meditative, flawed show that gave Ellen Pompeo a chance to do something new, whether the world was ready for it or not. As Elise Hartman whispers in the final moments of the pilot episode, staring out over the misty Vermont woods, "Sometimes the truth isn't what we want, it's what we need." For Pompeo and her audience, maybe the same is true.